Hello, I'm EnterElysium, and welcome back to From the Depths. Okay, so we're in the vehicle designer, as you can see by the absolute lack of... Okay, well, there's meant to be a lack of anything, but I guess we've also spawned in the helicopters that have... Yep, just gone derpy. Fair enough. Okay, well, this is the David Potter. The reason I've got the David Potter here is, okay, good for you. So I can compare it to what we're going to be building. So, we haven't built a battleship yet, and you know what? I would like a battleship. People have been saying for a while we should make a battleship, and you know, the time hasn't been right. I think the time is right now. So we're going to build a battleship. Now, the reason I've started with the David Potter here is because I want to get an impression of length, right? I mean, length doesn't matter, but for this it does. So, length is 111. Wow, that seems a lot more than I was expecting. Huh, okay. So we're going to go for something about 150 at least. Probably more like 200. We're going to have to start something fairly sizable, because it's going to be a battleship, right? Now, we've got a couple of choices. We could have something that runs around and knocks over microphones. Thank you, Kitty. That's really kind of you. We could have something that, you know, is like this. It's a ship. It's got a hull. Most of its hull's below the waterline. You know, they can be problematic to make, but, you know, ultimately they're not too complex. Alternatively, we know something like the David Potter. No, not the David Potter. The, I'm going to look up the name. Which one is it? The one that, like, Doodlehog. The Doodlehog class, yeah. The one that looks on like a hydrofoil system and can move really fast. Now, we could do that with a battleship. It would be kind of difficult to do, and ultimately I don't know why we would, because we'll have the range. I think we'll just stick with the normal design for now. I don't think there's anything to really be gained by going for a hydrofoil with a battleship, because yeah, ultimately I don't really want to get in that close to the battleship. The battleship's going to have the range to be able to just have standoff capacity. So, let's just get rid of everything we've got currently out here. Hello, Kitty. Are you gonna be annoying again? Oh, look at it go. The way the arm strips off, I really do love it, just watching, like, big ships go slowly. Just bits disappearing, sinking, power gone. It's a beautiful sight. Oh, the wind has exploded in a kind of cool way. Okay, so... the question is, did the helicopters disappear? Because I really do want my helicopters to bugger off, because they're annoying. Okay, you can be deleted now. There we go. Should be the last few lines. So we still have helicopters around. Right, one at a time. Delete. 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 And to the surface! Which is going to take a while. It's very deep here. Whee! Boing. Hello! Just check one thing. HUD. Text. Have I got my altitude? Yeah, I've got altitude. I just can't see it when I'm in person mode. Okay. Anyway, so let's get started. So I would like wood block. Well, it'll do. Now, if I hit caps lock, we'll take it above the surface of the water. So it doesn't bob around and be annoying. Come on, up you get. There we go. Now, question is, are we going to use light metal alloy or are we using metal? Light metal alloy is going to be helpful, I'll be honest. I think we're going to have to use some sort of laminate of light metal alloy and metal. So we'll start off with metal, since it'll be the inside. Or alternatively, we can build a different way. We can build in rooms and then build a hull around the rooms. And honestly, I think we should do that. For bigger ships, it probably makes some sense. So we're going to be using alloyed beams for because we're going to be building the insides. And the insides are going to be made of light alloy. So let's just put in about a 200-meter beam. That's going to be fore to aft. How long is that? Length to go up about 4 clicks more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Length 200. There we go. Almost twice the length of David Potter. Yep, it's going to be a beast. It's going to be a beast. Right, so where do we want our bridge? I'm honestly thinking we build something without a traditional bridge, but I like the idea of traditional bridges. They're just not very useful. They're kind of a massive structural weak point. And also they kind of restrict the angle of fire of your turrets. So don't know if we'll be doing that. So let's have a look at what we can do up here. So the prow is probably... I should stop thinking about how the hull's going to look. I should start thinking about rooms. Right, rooms. So I'm going to cut a little bit off the front because it's obviously going to have to go out around the stuff we build in the middle. So this is how far the middle bit is going to be long. And then, of course, there will be hull padding on every side. And let's start putting in some rooms. So we'll want a few front cannons tiered in such a way that they should be able to shoot over each other. So I'm looking at something like front cannon, tiered cannon, triple tiered cannon, and then on the side some like slightly lower set anti-air cannons or something. Yeah, that might be how we do it. So if we start just basing this off rough designs for cannons, I should probably put a mirror line down. And then let's just go to the back and then fill these sections in. Use this as a like tiny little floor. Do 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 do. Fill. There we go. Lovely jubbly. So for this, I'm thinking like 3 main cannons at the front, which might have multiple barrels. Probably actually going to have multiple barrels. It might actually be like separate cannons, but on the same mount. We'll see. Come on. And then at the side, like, did he like anti-air cannons or something? I mean, they can be used against land targets as well, but I'm thinking anti-air cannons. Right. So if I do a cannon here, it would have 1, 2, 3 off to the side. I'd like to go to 4. Yeah, that should be fine. Right, so if we do that, cannon's going to go 1, 2, 3. Well, oh, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that should work for our front cannon. Then behind it, there's going to be a little gap, and then up, however many we need to go up to be able to build the cannon like tiered properly. Probably going to go up 3, and then up 3 again. And that should allow us to get pretty large cannons back to back. Now, the thing is, if we want to build these cannons as like multiple cannons on one turret turny thing, like effectively, there won't be multiple barrels on the same mount. There'll be multiple mounts, each of their own dedicated barrel, which means you can get much larger calibers. The thing is, we need this to be larger. I'm thinking like a triple gun, right? With 3 separate barrels. 1, 2, 3. Each of which fires like ridiculous like, gauge projectile. So if we did that, we'd have 1 here. I could get 2. Getting 3 would be tough. I think we could do it. Let's see. If we did 1 here, it would have the sideways. Then we need a gap. It would be technically challenging. But I like a challenge. And this is a battleship. So, screw it. Let's go for technically challenging. Let's increase the width by 3. Okay. So, how much width do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. That looks quite good. Now, we're going to have to, of course, build the turret around, you know, whatever we can get in there. Well, we should be able to get something pretty sizable in there. And the fact is, like, I can just move this backwards and just have to tier it higher up. So, effectively, we'd be going up 3. So, we'd be 1, 2, 3. And we'd be building the same thing. I could just copy-paste it. Yeah, let's do that. So, let's do... New object. No. Prefabs, yes. I've got too many blank prefabs sitting around. Wipe. 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 Right. There we go. Lovely. Right. Now, the thing is that... Oops. Does make us fairly high. Actually, maybe not as bad as I thought. And I will say this. That is not particularly much of the ship that's been taken up. That is not much of the ship at all. I was expecting a lot more of the ship to be used in this manner. I mean, of course, this is actually, you know, the ship's going to be a bit shorter than we've currently got it. Because this is going to have to go on a fair way forward to be able to just make up for the sheer, like, ridiculousness of that. Because that is fairly wide. And, of course, we're going to have turrets along the side here. We could have turrets probably not far out. Do we want to tier the turrets as well? Yeah, we'd probably tier the turrets. And these turrets would be rapid firing, so they actually need a fair, like... Because the reason I want these turrets on the side, right, is they are meant to be AA guns that can shoot down planes, but if needs must, they can also be used against other ships nearby, right? But the important thing is that they have to fire fast, and they have to have incredibly high muzzle velocity. They need to be able to hit their targets. They need to be fired, and they need to hit their target. Fairly low damage, whatever. AP, hopefully 10, but we'll see. The fast part will probably mean they've got ridiculous muzzle velocity. They'll just be like pure saber rounds or whatever. And they will just be like, doof, 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 fire them out, get them on target. But they'll also work against ships, in theory. So the thing is that because of that, I'll need like a load of cooldown systems to make sure that they can fire respectably fast. I mean, it doesn't need to be crazy fast. But they will need a load of cooling. And to do that, they're going to need space. That's 6 air guns on each side. Of course, the ones at the back could be, you know, a damn sight more powerful. We'll just have to see. We could also have a smaller deck gun in front or something. Like, there are possibilities for quite a few things over here. I've got so much space left. I don't know what to do with all the space. This is our main armament section. This is weird. To be fair, this is going to need a substantial amount of ammo and ammo barrels to be able to power it. Maybe we should design the ammo stockpile right now, considering it is going to be very important to us. Yeah, let's do it. It's not slick or fancy or anything, but it's going to be very, very important. Okay. Right, ammo barrels and stuff. Honestly, I'm feeling just a giant mid-stockpile. Just a big room. Then make sure it's 3 layers away from anything else. So this is going to be the top of the deck. Roughly. Honestly, the ammo stockpile should be down below. So far, the ship doesn't go down if the water near far enough. It needs to go down a lot further, otherwise it's going to have the water coming over, like, even the front gun. So what we should do, really, is sink the ammo stockpile into the water. So the ammo stockpile is actually going to be underneath here. The top bit, we could go missiles. I don't want to have anything that sticks up further than the gun, because the gun should be able to swivel and fire backwards if need be. Yeah, so that should be able to fire backwards, which means it doesn't need to be... This doesn't need to be down anymore, but it does need to be... That is the max height it can go to. So, long-range missiles? Spam missiles? Anti-missile missiles? I think some anti-missile missiles would be pretty good, but then again, I don't think they need to go in the middle of the ship. I think they need to go at the front or the back. Yeah, front or the back for anti-missile missiles. And what we'll do is we'll have... This is going to be a missile section. So we'll just mark it for now as a missile section. Like, I don't need to do anything. It is currently 12 high. I'm looking at missiles that are going to be about 10 high, maybe 8. So that's about the right height, because I'll want to have an ejector and stuff down the bottom. Because I will want these to be ejected so they go whoosh at the top and then can fly a long way. What else? I don't honestly want a laser weapon. I want something that fights mainly via its cannons. The missiles are going to be useful, but mainly via the cannons, because I want it to be an old-fashioned battleship in terms of how it fights. Maybe not in terms of how it looks, but definitely in terms of how it fights. I'm definitely looking for something along the lines of just line them up, knock them down. Block, lightweight, beam. And then, boop. Yeah, that works. I mean, strictly, the beam would be here. 1, 2, 3. So now we have something with 3 massive guns on the front, 2 massive guns on the back. Anti-air guns, probably going to be anti-air guns. They could be small deck cannons. I think they're going to be anti-air guns. We could have a mix. It could be, 3 and 3 or whatever it's going to be on each side. Missiles in the center. I mean, that's normally where the bridge would go. I could put a traditional bridge on instead of the missiles there. I don't know. See what people think, maybe, if I get this out before I finish it. And then we've got a little bit left on the rear, which, of course, I can spread between the rear and the front, because that's how it's going to be at the end of the day. I could have a small, landing pad, and then I could, have helicopters or whatever. Honestly, not if I'm feeling that, though, because we have had issues with that before. Then again, we could have, just one helicopter, make it just a much better helicopter. Yeah, we could go with that. The front will have to extend. I don't want the back quite this far out. There we go. It's probably gonna have to extend another one, just because it's gonna take a while to get in from here. Because I'm hoping to use a 4:1 slope ratio. Because it'll be something like that. That. That's vaguely what I'm thinking right now. I mean, off the top of my head, I prefer that. It looks more aesthetically pleasing to me, and it's also better for your slipperiness in water. Yeah. Then, of course, we're going to have to tack bow thrusters and stuff on, depending on where the center of mass is. So it's going to be a bit messy. Right, so I think I'm going to do a little bit of work off camera, just get it a little bit more idealized where I'm going with it, and then I'll be back with you in a sec. And welcome back. So this is the more outline version of the hull. I mean, it's not done, obviously, by any means, but it's a better outline. You see, I've actually just gone, screw it, and just put turrets all down the side. Now, of course, I don't think the turret's going to be that tightly packed. In fact, we might actually just switch to turret, not turret, turret, not turret, turret, just to give them a better angle of fire, because if there are too many turrets packed together, they'll be able to turn properly as much. However, does mean that maybe we could put like a missile system or something in for the spare ones. I don't know. There could be something there. And also it'll depend on the height, because as we go along, the height of these turrets is going to vary, so that some will be taller than others. So that means we might have multiple different loadouts. In the center bit, I was thinking missiles, but it could be something else. I'm still debating it. Probably missiles. And if we go down below, you can see that this is currently the underside of the hull. Now, this is not deep enough. This is straight up. This is not going to be deep enough at all. Like, if we're having a gun starting here, right, it's probably going to be higher than the 4 I've laid out, but they're all going to be the same height, so it'll raise all of them the same amount. But if we go up from here and we go up, that's a reasonable amount to expect. You're not looking at a lot above the waterline, because waterline is probably going to, because we're going to clad this several times over, and in metal, not just alloy. We're looking at waterline of being about here. That just isn't high enough, especially considering we're meant to be a battleship, so made to, you know, take redundancy and stuff. Be able to just, you know, like fall back. Like if we get shot, if we get holed, certain compartments will flood, but we should stay buoyant. Now, if a battleship rolls over, you're never going to get it back. Once the battleship rolls, that would be GG. And that would mean that it's something, just one small thing, that could lose you like an entire massive expensive ship. Enemy fire won't do that, but rolling could, because then it just becomes a sitting target and can't do anything. So I'm going to try and make sure it can't roll. I might actually put on my lure block with the code for my anti-roll propellers, because it works really well. And they will also fight against broadsides, because if we broadside these cannons, we're going to get such a massive force. The entire ship's going to want to roll, especially if they're all firing at the same time. So having anti-roll propellers might be a good idea. I mean, mostly this is just planning, which is kind of annoying. Yeah. It's one of those sessions where you're like, yeah, I'm just planning everything. Really, I'm looking for feedback, what people think. You know, I've said that I'm vaguely looking for this sort of World War II-ish, mainly guns type ship. If we have turrets on the side, they will also act as our broadside. Although, ideally, there should be a lot of them to target air. We'll have... I'm thinking that this could be something like... These two would be slightly smaller cannons, and this one would just be like the maximum size possible. We're talking a 500mm barrel with a shell that goes up to like the full length it can be. Whereas the ones here and the two at the front would be, you know, maybe 500mm, maybe 400, and not quite 800. Not quite like the max length, maybe half that. And these will fire faster. Of course, the one at the front, the one in the middle, I guess you'd call it, position 3. The 3 turret is going to be ridiculous. It's going to fire like once every 40 seconds, and that's with me pushing it, trying to get it reloading as fast as possible. And I'm okay with that. The point of this turret isn't maybe to be as effective as possible, it's to just do the most ridiculous shell possible. And in theory, that should work fine. Now, of course, with the number of guns we've got, we're going to have a lot of autoloaders and stuff, which means we need somewhere to put our ammo creation deck, In fact, that's going to be a very large area if we have all of these ones at the side. Maybe not a massive area since they're not going to be each ridiculously fast firing, but a certain good rate of fire. So probably going to be like, this whole entire section of the underside going to be devoted to ammo processing. And then have like, a small section like here to be actual ammo. I do want torpedoes at the front. I was debating having torpedoes on the sides as well. But I decided probably not going to be worth it. I'm still debating it. Torpedoes firing out the side might work. Torpedoes actually really effective. One of the few things you just can't counter because they're at the waterline. Like, unlike missiles, you can't shoot them down. That none of the missile detectors work in water. And torpedoes are quite awesome. They're just really quite good. So it might be something I'd want to include on this, despite the fact, as a battleship, it wouldn't necessarily be a torpedo boat, but I'd like to include some torpedoes. But yeah, I'm still not sure about what to do with the midsection. Like, we could go for a traditional bridge, but I don't know if I'm feeling it. I don't know. I definitely like opinion on that one. And what we're looking at is 5 turrets, load of smaller turrets here, which are going to be mainly anti-air or whatever. Low caliber, but ridiculously fast. Maybe a few of them could be just generic deck guns. Just intersperse the anti-air with a few deck guns. Like, maybe it could even be like deck gun, anti-air, deck gun, anti-air, deck gun, anti-air. Just maybe, flip it occasionally and alternate it and see what we get. It'd be interesting. But yeah, I guess this episode is... It's really... Some people are going to just absolutely hate this episode as we're talking about the design of a battleship. We haven't even built anything other than light alloy 4x1s. Like, they are probably the most boring... This is probably, for a lot of people, the most boring thing, but I think it is important to state what I'm looking for in a battleship like this and the general design. And I definitely want feedback about what you're looking for in Battleship, because I'm not going to be making... I'm probably going to be making the one Battleship, just because it's going to take so long to make. From now on, I might do a couple of building episodes, and then when it inevitably ends up taking longer than that to build, I'll end up doing something like half a building episode, half a fighting episode, and just intersperse it. Because I know several people have said that they actually miss building episodes, so, I understand that there are people out there underrepresented by the current content. So definitely give me all the feedback you want about... what we should do with this design. I'm still very much debating how we're going to do certain things, what we're going to do for, the hull I don't think is deep enough. I think we're going to have to use maybe a different step or something. So definitely wanting people's feedback. But I've been EnterElysium. If you enjoyed, please like. Not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And I'm sorry that this episode has just been laying down the hull, but it needed to be done. I could have done a lot of it off camera and then tried to explain it to you, but to be honest, the explaining would have taken a while, and I wanted to get across my thought process behind making the ship, because I feel that's very important for getting your feedback about what you think about it, because I definitely want to get across my entire feedback. But anyway, until next time, stay shiny.